Hello! This is video 2 for social studies this week. Yay! So get out your books. So last time we met, I think on the video, we had been talking about the U.S. trying to take over Canada and that they didn't win. And I think I mentioned in that video that was the end of the lesson, but that was a lie. There's 2 more pages in lesson 37. And then 1 workbook page we're going to do today. And then next week we'll start lesson 38. That's my fault, and I apologize. I just forgot that there was 2 more pages in this lesson. So we're going to read today pages 109 and 110. So we're going to talk about the United States Navy and then fighting in the North. So follow along with me. The American Navy was more successful than the American Army. The American Navy had fewer than a dozen ships, but they were built stronger than most ships. The British Navy had hundreds of ships, but they were spread all over the world. Most were too far away to fight the Americans. On August 19, 1812, an American ship called the USS Constitution fought the British ship called the HMS Guerriere. See that, Guerriere. So go ahead and look at the painting on the bottom. So you can look at the ships there, the USS defeating the Guerriere. Which one's the US ship? Well, the bigger one and the one with the what on it? The American flag. That would be a good indicator. And it just looks bigger and powerful. So does it look like they defeated the US, the Guerriere? We'll see. Let's see. Keep reading. So the Constitution had heavier guns and did more damage to the Guerriere. Many British cannonballs bounced off the Constitution. People later called the ship Old Ironsides. So that was, I guess, the ship's name because the cannons were just bouncing off of it. So it definitely was stronger. The British gave up. For the first time in this war, an American ship defeated a British ship. Can you imagine trying to fight on the ocean? On a ship? At least on land, you have places to hide and get behind. And on the ship, if they blow up your ship, you're in the ocean. You're dead, So I think that would be harder. All right. So America had won several more sea battles, but the British still had the more powerful navy, and they controlled the seas. Interesting. So the British still had a more powerful navy, and they controlled the seas, even though America won several battles. Interesting. Okay, so fighting in the North. This is page 110. Americans were happy that the USS Constitution had defeated a British ship, but they were upset about losing the Michigan Territory. They're still upset about this. The British seemed to be winning the war. Before making a peace treaty with Britain, America wanted to get its lost land back. The U.S. Navy led the way. The Navy wanted to win control of the Great Lakes. These lakes were part of the Michigan Territory. Without these lakes, Britain could not keep it, the Michigan Territory. Oliver Hazard Perry commanded U.S. Navy ships. He built a fleet of 9 ships. It fought the British fleet on Lake Erie. The Americans won the battle even though Perry's own ship was destroyed. After losing the battle, the British went back to Canada. American soldiers followed. They defeated the British and the Indians who were helping them. An Indian leader called Chief Tecumseh died in battle. I wonder if they thought the Americans would come back after losing, after several attempts. So maybe they blindsided them. Before the war, Chief Tecumseh had brought Indian tribes together to fight against the Americans. The Indians wanted the Americans to stop moving into Indian lands. After Chief Tecumseh's death, no other leader could unite the Indian tribes to fight the Americans. So my question to you is, why did America want to defeat the British in Canada? Well, the British supplied weapons to the Indians in the United States. Americans hoped that Canadians might join the U.S. and Americans thought Canadians wanted freedom from Britain. So there we go. That's the end of that. lesson. I don't think you need your books to complete your workbook page. I was looking at it earlier. You need to turn to page 59, only 59. We're not doing the back. That's for the next lesson. I did double check that and look ahead. All right. So the first 4, we're going to do the first one together. You need to circle F if the statement is a fact, or circle O if the statement is an opinion. So remember, a fact is something that's true and based on true facts. An opinion is someone's thoughts on the topic or situation. So number 1, British soldiers in Canada supplied weapons to the Indians in the United States. Is that a fact? We read that, or is that someone's opinion about it? It's a fact. So circle F, and you can do the rest on your own. Then the next number 5 through number 10, you need to use this map, which is in your workbook, to complete it. And they want you to use letters and numbers. Now, these are lines of latitude and longitude, but it's also broken down into like a grid, like a map grid. So you have your letters on the bottom and your numbers on the top. So how you would find things on here is, first thing, you're going to need to look at your key and then see what they're asking. Don't worry, we'll do a couple together. And then you're going to come down here and be like, oh, this is right here. And it depends on how you do things, because they may tell you, look at B3 and tell me what's there. So you go to B and you go up 1, 2, 3. So you come B and you come over 3 and then you say what's in there. But sometimes you need to find something here and kind of go backwards and say, oh, that's found in D1. Okay, so let's do number 5 together. It's asking, where is Fort Detroit? So the first thing I'm going to look at, well, how do I know where forts are? Well, let's go to the key and see what forts are. They're a diamond and they're white, outlined in black. So now we need to go look at all the forts. So I see Fort Mackinac, Fort Dearborn, Fort Wayne, Fort Detroit. That's what we need. So let's follow our fingers up or down, and we see B2. It's in B2. So write B2 on that box, or on the line, sorry. And then we're going to do number 6 together, and then I'll let you do the rest on your own. So number 6, where is the nation's capital? Well, let's go over to our key. I see the capitals are marked with what? A yellow star. Very good. So now I'm going to come to my map and find the yellow star. There's only one. There's Washington, D.C., right? That's our capital. So we're going to look. That's in box D1. So you're going to write D1. Pretty easy. That's not too terrible. All right, go ahead and finish that in. Make sure you turn it in on the link, and I will see you guys here next week.